This automatically made him a National Black Panther Party deputy chairman. As the nationwide Panther leadership began to be decimated by the effects of the FBI's COINTELPRO, Hampton's prominence in the national hierarchy increased rapidly and dramatically. Eventually, he was in line to be appointed to the party's Central Committee's chief of staff. He would have achieved this position had he not been killed on December 4th, 1969. Hampton's effective leadership and talent for communication marked him as a major threat to the FBI. It began keeping close tabs on his activities. Investigations have shown that the FBI's chief, J. Edgar Hoover, was determined to prevent the formation of a cohesive black movement in the United States. Hoover believed that the Black Panthers, Young Patriots, Young Lords, and similar radical coalitions Hampton forged in Chicago were a stepping stone to the rise of a revolution that could have threatened the U.S. government and society. The FBI opened a file on Hampton in 1967. It tapped Hampton's mother's phone in February of 1968, and by May placed Hampton on the Bureau's Agitator Index as a key militant leader. In late 1968, the Radical Matters Squad of the FBI's Chicago field office recruited William O'Neill to work with it. He had recently been arrested twice for interstate car theft and impersonating a federal officer. In exchange for having his felony charges dropped and a monthly stipend, O'Neill agreed to infiltrate the Black Panther Party as a counterintelligence operative. O'Neill joined the party and quickly rose in the organization, becoming director of chapter security in Hampton's bodyguard. In 1969, the FBI special agent in charge in San Francisco wrote Hoover that the agent's investigation had found that, in his city at least, the Panthers were primarily feeding breakfast to children. Hoover responded with a memo implying that the agent's career prospects depended on his supplying evidence to support Hoover's view that the Black Panther Party was a violent-prone organization seeking to overthrow the government by revolutionary means. By means of an anonymous letter, the FBI sowed distrust and eventually instigated a split between the Panthers and the Rangers. O'Neill personally instigated an armed clash between them on April 2, 1969. The Panthers became effectively isolated from their power base in Chicago's ghetto, so the FBI worked to undermine its ties with other radical organizations. O'Neill was instructed to create a rift between the party and Students for a Democratic Society, whose Chicago headquarters was blocked from the Panthers. The Bureau released a batch of racist cartoons in the Panthers' name, aimed at alienating white activists. It also launched a disinformation program to forestall the formation of the Rainbow Coalition. But the Black Panther Party did make an alliance with the Young Patriots and Young Lords. In repeated directives, Hoover demanded that COINTELPRO personnel investigate the Rainbow Coalition, destroy what the Black Panther Party stand for, and eradicate its Serve the People programs. Documents Senate investigators secured in the early 1970s revealed that the FBI actively encouraged violence between the Panthers and other radical groups. This provoked multiple murders in cities throughout the country. On July 16, 1969, an armed confrontation between party members and the Chicago Police Department resulted in one Black Panther Party member, mortally wounded, and 6 others arrested on serious charges. In early October, Hampton and his girlfriend, Deborah Johnson, rented a 4.5-room apartment at the 2337 West Monroe Street to be closer to the Black Panther Party headquarters. O'Neill reported to his superiors that much of the Black Panthers' provocative stockpile of arms was stored there and drew them a map of the apartment. In early November, Hampton traveled to California on a speaking engagement to the UCLA Law Students Association. While there, he met with the remaining Black Panther Party national hierarchy, who appointed him to the party's Central Committee. He was soon to take the position of Chief of Staff and Major Spokesman. Fred Hampton was murdered on December 4th by the Chicago Police Department. He was only 21. J. Edgar Hoover's FBI counterintelligence program was created to prevent the Black Messiah who could unify and electrify the militant Black nationalist movement. Hampton was seen as such a threat. At the young age, he amassed a following and gained influence. Fred Hampton was murdered because he could unite the people. Fred Hampton was a true revolutionary and pioneer.
Bobby Seale is going through all types of physical and mental torture. But that's all right, because we said even before this happened, and we're going to say it after this, and after I'm locked up, and after everybody's locked up, that you can jail revolutionaries, but you can't jail a revolution. Right. You might run a liberator like Eric Cleave out the country, but you can't run liberation out the country. You might murder a freedom fighter like Bobby Hutton, but you can't murder